Hey guys, King Charmus here, typical judge, your jury, and your analyst. And today I bring to you a team that got me to expert. So there's this sweet 5-0 and it took me to expert. And I was super happy because I was like, about freaking time. So I got really lazy after Sinnoh Cup started. So I basically used just either the most common team or I just used this variation of it, which features the Empoleon Driplim core, and all you do is literally throw Filipino Gastrodon in the back. For those of you that don't know, I am Filipino, so Filipino Gastrodon has a lot of I love my Filipino Gastrodon. I never thought I'd be using it for this cup, but you're gonna see some pretty insane plays, so hopefully you get a little bit of PvP education, because I still literally have to make that video. Maybe, just maybe. Well, actually, I'm getting to that soon, before PvP just totally collapses, you know, like trading. Because someone out there decided to put on Reddit, hey, look at me, I got 100, lucky you. Oh my gosh, social media. Like, that dude literally ruined. You know, I'm gonna look right now. Is trading back yet? I don't think it is, huh? Like, yeah, I don't think you can trade yet. Because, like, that person literally took it down to where, yeah, trading is still gone. So, you literally can't, you still can't trade. Thanks, dude. Thank you so much for, like, ruining trading first. Thank you for having something cool, but then ruining it for everybody else. Because, you know, Niantic. Speaking Niantic, for those of you, well, you know what, just, okay, mental health tip for the day. So, mental health tip for the day is basically, well, here's anxiety. So, anxiety has something called a feedback loop. So, a feedback loop is like, imagine like, let's see, what's a running Pokemon? A Pokemon that runs really, really fast. Arcanine. No, not Arcanine. Dodrio, something like that. So, feedback loop is like a track. So what a anxiety feedback loop is basically like Go Battle League. It's very anxiety producing because it's blind 3. So then you don't know what you're gonna face. If you lose the lead a bazillion times, you like, if you get really anxious when you battle and you're like, oh my gosh, what do they have in the back? Or if you're like hyperventilating, or you're like really like, this is like, you're anxious when you battle, like I used to back in the day. Like nowadays it's just literally automatic. Like I told you, like just absolute zen when I battle. A lot of people are going to tell you, oh no, if you practice so much. I'm like, a lot of you don't have that mental piece, and a lot of you don't fight in MMA or anything like that, so you are even competed in combat sports, so you can be all mentally tough you want. Most of y'all haven't been in a fight. I have. And I've also served in Afghanistan, and most got blown up like a bazillion times, so you know, that's perfectly fine, you know, things happen, it's okay. But anxiety has something called a feedback loop. So, in order to break that feedback loop, you need to do something outside that pattern. Which is why if you get anxiety when you play Go Battle League, or you're really sick of losing the freaking lead, either you do something else, or you have something that's just like, you have this like behavior that you do. So instead of throwing your phone halfway across the room, you might be like, you just might take a deep breath, or you just put the phone down for a while. So then you get back into it. But a key is to work through the feedback loop is to basically do something like CBT. It's called cognitive behavioral therapy. So CBT is an automatic thought that goes through your head, and you change that thought or behavior. So the automatic thought is, oh, I lost the lead, so oh my god, I'm about to lose this battle. Change it to, okay, I might have a win condition, or there's always a win condition. If you don't make legend for a season or whatever, and you see that there's visible improvement, you're like, oh, that means, your automatic thought means, oh, I must be a failure. Legend is not that impressive. I'm gonna say it right now. Everybody that's going on, you know, it's funny how everybody posts their leaderboard stuff, but they never put how they got there. Like, if some part, like, the problem, like, no one cares about our leaderboard. Like, the only one that cares is with, like, seriously, you think we got a chance to, against, like, League or anything like League of Legends, Apex, all the other games, leaderboards, you can play as much as you want. And Go Battle League, you can't play as much as you want. So for some of you that are really stressing out because you can on battle 25 times a day, we're the only system that does that. It's very anxiety producing because, oh, I could have made legend if I got one more set in. But Go Battle League doesn't operate like other games. It's the only game that limits you, and they do that on purpose. The FOMO model of business model, fear of missing out, and it's extremely anxiety producing. And they do the same thing for PvP. PvP is terrible for your mental health. No matter which creator tries to sell this to you, I will have every argument as to why PvP is garbage and why it's bad for your mental health. So, don't feel bad if you don't make legend. Don't feel bad if you quit, because most people outside of our game genre don't care about legend in general. There are people out there making 6-figure contracts and in Pro League, and we are out here still trying to push Pokemon Go PvP like there's hope. No, we are going to get drowned out by first-person shooters unless they overhaul this entire system. No, literally, that's the only hope we have. Either a miracle happens or they overhaul the whole system to where it's something that's really... But... There's hope, but there's very little hope. So, again, break your feedback loops, do your best, and just play, and hopefully you will reach your goals. And, without further ado, let's get started with these battles. Alright, so here are the battles. This is gonna be really interesting. So, generally, the way this team works is that if you lose the lead, you are going to essentially sack Empoleon in the lead, or you're going to switch into Drifblim because you don't want to. You switch into Drifblim, or you try to mirror Gastrodon and see if they stay in. But those are the general 3 ways of what happens. Most of the time, you will sacrifice Empoleon in the lead if you lose it, or you try to win the mirror. You try to keep alignment as much as possible in the Sinnoh Cup because this meta is pretty rock, paper, scissory unless you're using like whole teams, which are just terrible for the game in general, in my opinion. No, seriously, they're terrible. They're like, I know so many people that quit PvP because like whole teams exist. Like, they're not good for the whole scope of PvP. And as you see here, they let a Hydro Cannon through, and this is essentially GG's. Because what happens here is that all I'm going to do is I'm going to send in Gastrodon with the shield advantage, and it's very unlikely they're going to come back from this. I can expect my opponent to quit out once Gastrodon just farms this thing down, and they're going to be like, wait, what? So I send in Gastrodon. I'm not going to shield here because it might be a Shadow Ball. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm just going to let it through. And it happens to be a power-up punch. And after, they do not fall for the baits. I farm this one down. And the poor Lucario, after that, you won't see anything else because they quit out. And that's GG's. So that's just a case of what usually happens. If they switch Lucario into, you will switch in Gastrodon and then farm down. And you'll see another example of that later in the shoutcast. But I got the sweet 5-0 because of it. Made expert with this team, which all I literally did was take the like Froslass and just like switch it out with a Gastrodon, because Gastrodon, you see a lot of the whole teams running around. And Gastrodon is... Filipino Gastrodon's gonna Filipino Gastrodon. I'm just saying. Let's go Filipino Gastrodon. So Filipino Gastrodons are absolutely amazing. As you see here, we're going to Hydro Cannon. I'm trying to get that extra Hydro Cannon. That extra waterfall through, but it's not happening. If your opponent fires first, usually what's supposed to happen is you get a fast move through. Because that's how it's supposed to work. Or usually works. Because fast moves are never consistent. It's just like how fast move denial doesn't exist. It's just like, yeah, fast move denial technically doesn't exist. The game isn't supposed to operate this way. If you played PvP way back in the day, no, seriously, it was like, this like never happened. So, as you see here, all we're going to do is switch in our Drifblim into this Cresselia. We're going to ball out, straight ball, 3-ball. Sadly, because of Draymond Green being injured, the Warriors aren't really balling right now. My opponent tries to bait me with a Grass Knot, which I call like a boss. And all we're going to do is literally ball out. We're going to ball out and hope to the Death Star. Yes, that's a Star Wars reference. And hope that our Death Star, our well, you know, Drifblim is kind of like a floating Death Star. You see like the exhaust port, which is like the little like red stuff in the back. It's literally like a floating Death Star. Maybe I should call my Drifblim Death Star. Anyways, for those of you that are in the comments and you've watched the Book of Boba Fett, don't spoil anything for me because I haven't watched the Book of Boba Fett yet. So I have to take some time to watch it. But you know, being a therapist and also being a coach is very, very busy. So I don't have a lot of screen time for my eyes. But I do definitely need to catch up on a bunch of shows. I will send in Gastrodon with this Gallade. And I send it in very quickly because I don't want to eat these Leaf Blades. One Leaf Blade will yeet my poor Gastrodon to death. And if that Gallade has enough energy, it can possibly get the 3 Leaf Blades. So being very careful of how I throw, when I throw, making sure that I don't throw on the confusion interval. That way I don't get CMP'd, and at the same time, they don't get extra confusions, because that's extremely vital right now. So my opponent elects, they're actually going to let this body slam through. In my opinion, you should have shielded. That's your better play right now, but like as you see, they'll let the body slam through, and that's GG's. It was better if they just shielded, try to get Leaf Blade, and catch me on CMP. And then if they caught me on CMP, maybe they could come out with Incon. But because that Mudslap goes through, as you see here, that's GG's. Very odd by my opponent. I'm not sure why you would do that. Again, you had a better chance of just trying to catch me on CMP and then confusioning down for the W. So even though I kind of had a convincing win, but like, because I timed everything right, but I could have gone another way. We got legend on legend action, and as you see, I get Empoleon into Gastrodon. This is a terrible lead. This is usually what happens. If you lose the lead, send in either Gastrodon for the mirror, or you're going to send in Driplim. In this case, my opponent has a Munchlax. So you're like, King of Charmanders, how did you play out of this? Because Munchlax has a very, very good matchup against Driplim. The only issue with Munchlax is that it doesn't get... So the thing about Munchlax is that you resist both Body Slam and Bulldoze. So my plan here is to Icy Wind this thing to Oblivion, and then hopefully with all that damage I'm going to do with Icy Wind, I can farm it down with my Empoleon, and then get all this energy, throw out the Gastrodon, try to create some win condition out of this terrible situation we're in. All we're going to do is, like I mentioned, straight Icy Wind. You will feel the power of the North. Like, you know, like Jon Snow. Like, no. No, wait, no. Death Star sounds so much cooler than Jon Snow, and Game of Thrones did in fact disrespect every one of its audience. So yes, that ending was atrocious. Yeah, they should have just took their time, but you got that money. So as you see, Body Slam, I'm gonna attempt to try, so this is gonna be really weird. I'm gonna try to win back switch. So I'm gonna try to win back switch, and I'm gonna see if my opponent is actually gonna take it to the one shield. I want to take it to the one shield, and then I'm gonna try to farm down this Munchlax. As you see, they elect a shield. I switch in fast as hell to try to get the Munchlax. Hopefully that extra energy I got from that Hydro Cannon will allow me, or not that Hydro Cannon, that extra Waterfall energy I got from that one will allow me to get to 2 Waterfalls, or 2 Hydro Cannons. My opponent lets the first one through, and I'm kind of scratching my head, why would you do that? Because as you see here, all I'm going to do is I'm going to shield this, and I'm going to Waterfall down for the victory. So I was like scratching my head, like, why would you do that, sir? Because now you lose alignment. Yes, Munchlax is going to come in, but then I'm like really confused right now. So as you see, they send in their own Empoleon, which Gastrodon does beat, but this isn't completely safe because the problem is Gastrodon is in danger right now because they're gonna have all that Hydro Cannon energy. However, where they jacked up is that Gastrodon can Mudslap you. I can possibly just Mudslap down for the W. So as you see here, just gonna Mudslap, Mudslap, Mudslap. I still have a sack. And I time it on the right interval. As you saw there, I had the right idea. Unfortunately, just not the right timing. But that's okay. Because you need 2 Hydro Cannons to beat me. So, as you see here, they do that. They Body Slam me down. And then what happens in this scenario is I should just still be able to Mudslap for the victory. So, as you see here, I'm just going to Mudslap. Straight Mudslap. Slap it down. And as you see here, I fire the Body Slam. And then what's going to happen here is that it's actually really, really wonky. So as you see, I'm going to actually be able to get that extra Mudslap through because of the shield. So that goes through, and then, or what would have happened is just a simultaneous KO. So that's GG's. As you see, losing a lead, you have to create a really spazzy win condition, and that worked out for us just because, like I mentioned, if they don't, either they gave up there because they thought they were going to die, or if we simultaneously hit at the same time because Mudslap and Mudslap's a 3-turn move, and so is Waterfall. So yeah, that's how that created that. And this is a very ballsy play. As you see, remember how I told you about that Shadow Ball play can go wrong? So this is a Shadow play gone wrong. So if you switch in, normally if you switch in, depending on what happens, you can survive the Shadow Ball. In that case, I didn't survive the Shadow Ball, so I lost alignment. So King of Charmanders has to be really fancy. Usually what happens in that scenario is that you'll live with 1 HP left. Usually. But as you see, it didn't happen there. So when you screw up your win conditions, you know what you got to do? You got to come back and you got to find some way to create your own win conditions again. So we already lost alignment. Driplim versus Froslass is an absolutely terrible matchup. Unless I'm able to double bait here, or if I'm able to get the Shadow Ball through shields. So if this goes through the shields, I have win conditions. The keyword is I have a win condition. Not that I will have a win condition. I switch into Empoleon, and as you see here, they have a Gastrodon. But, okay, so this is a 10,000 IQ play. 10,000 IQ play. This is perfect. Watch what I'm going to do. I am not going to attack. So this is one of those 10,000 IQ win con plays. I'm not attacking because what happens here is that I want to farm this Gastrodon to get enough energy for a Shadow Ball for the back. And my opponent knows what's going on, so they stop attacking. And as you see, the game just doesn't register. Why does it do that? I stop attacking and the game doesn't register because I stopped tapping. Like, why? So as you see here, all I'm going to do is just farm down this Gastrodon at full power. This shouldn't have happened. Apparently, like, they farmed me down and did some more damage, but I don't know if I lagged. I have no idea. But with perfect, pristine measurement of farming down, I get to the Shadow Ball. Even if they had Avalanche, I have a shield, and that's GG's. That's how you come back from losing win cons. You're a boss. But as you see, It's a super advanced win condition, 10,000 IQ play. Don't attack, get farm. I don't know. I don't consciously count my moves, etc. So I also know how fun it is. So I was like, I hope y'all enjoyed that battle. I was like, let's go. And for the final battle, we do get a 5. This is the 5-0 that got me up there to expert. So this is going to be sweaty. So as you see, remember how that one happened from before from the previous battle? This one's going to work out this time though. So as you see here, all I'm going to do is mud slap down. If you get the extra mud slap down like this, if you get that mud slap through, you can elect to not shield. Hopefully you don't get countered down as you see here. And because I got the extra mud slap through, there we win alignment and we don't have to expend any shields. They send in a Froslass, which is okay because now we got alignment back. But again, that play is really ballsy. It's really up to you. How are you feeling? Do you like violence? Are you hungry? Stay like no. It's all about drive. You know, it's about drive. It's about power. You stay hungry and then you devour your opponent's ELO. Devour. Eat all of it. And yes, Rock. You know, Rock is definitely, that line is one of my favorite lines from Rock because it's so smooth and it's one take. Our opponent just switches into a Gastrodon and this is GG's. So that's GG's. I hope you guys enjoyed the battle. Again, that's a way you could play it, but yeah, that win con I had was nuts. And as you see, here's the sweet 5-0. 5-0 gets me to expert. And Master League really put me behind. I'd probably be legend right now if I use Zacian, but one, I don't have one built, and I don't have a Hundo Dialga because I'm not willing to shell out my money for a pay-to-win system. And Master League is terrible nowadays. I had my fun with Hydreigon. I can still claim that. I'm the only person to beat Open Master League with a full anti-meta team. All the way back in Season 1, I have the timestamp and the proof, so that's when it was fun. If Master League isn't fun, screw that. I'm going to tank my ELO for content. And I hope you enjoyed this sweet... Again, if you lose a lead, just say switch into Driplim or Mirrored Gastrodon and then try to come out with the W by creating really cool win conditions like you saw here. And that's GG's. I hope you guys enjoyed the battles. There was that really sweaty win condition. But you have to, I didn't even measure that. When you play the game for a really long time, you kind of, do things automatically. And like I said, absolute zen. People will be like, oh my gosh, you know, if you're counting, if you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, you're not doing absolute zen. Because you're telling your conscious mind to keep count. Which, yeah. And if you're anxious, after you're yes, I did it. Or you take a deep breath or you're cheering or anything like that after that. That's not being calm either. That's not zen. Most people don't have zen in Pokemon Go PvP. But, as you see here... it was really, I hope you all enjoyed the battles. Again, there's still plenty of time to make legend. So, and yeah, I'm kind of bored. So I'm going to just make it. And then after that, I'm going to really focus, instead of doing PvP, I'm going to really focus on making those PvP guides. So if you have an idea of what you want me to do as far as win conditions, team building, etc., please put it in the comments below. I'm also going to start a series about me being brutally honest about Pokemon Go PvP because no one wants to hear that Pokemon Go PvP is terrible. So I'm going to give you the actual proof and fact and data of why the heck this game is so anxiety producing and why the hell it's been run over in the esports world. It had so much potential. Sadly, unless, like I mentioned, there's an overhaul, that potential will not be realized. So, if you would like to realize your potential, as you see here, there are 2 little Charmanders. Please like and subscribe. It's totally free. You could easily do that by, you see a little box at the bottom right that says subscribe. Put your mouse over it. Boom, you subscribe. Super easy. 5 seconds. Really appreciate my current subscribers. Good luck on your Go Battle League sets, and I will see you guys on the next video.
Ciao!